Right, colour drenching, let's tackle this one. Which paint should you be using to colour drench? I can give you my recommendations. Before we get into it, there's a couple of things that you need to know. Number one, if you can use the same paint on the walls as you do the trim, then it is going to make the colour drenching work a lot better, because if you don't, if you use a specialist trim paint and a specialist wall paint, there's still going to be a little bit of contrast in there because there's going to be slightly different sheen levels. Number two, usually there's a trade-off between sheen level and durability. So you ideally need a durable paint for your woodwork because it gets absolutely battered just by opening and closing doors, scuffing skirting boards and things like that. So ideally you would have an eggshell, which is more durable. However, a matte will always look better, particularly if you are colour drenching. So I'm going to give you a few options now and then you can make your mind up. Right, the first paint I am going to mention is a Farrow and Ball paint. Now I know Farrow and Ball splits the opinion of decorators. However, there aren't many decorators out there who will tell you that the dead flat isn't a brilliant paint, and it is ideal for colour drenching. Again, it's quite a low sheen finish, which means it can scuff, but it does look absolutely gorgeous, and it is a multi-surface paint, so you can literally paint your ceilings, your walls, your radiator and your woodwork all in the same colour, and because it's Farrow and Ball, it will have a nice depth to it. The next one is Little Green Intelligent, either eggshell or matte. Now, Little Green reformulated their Intelligent range a few months ago, a year ago, however long it was, to have something called Intelligent Grip, which basically means you do not need to use a separate adhesion primer if you're going to go over difficult surfaces. So if you've got glossy woodwork, then you can go straight over it with the Little Green Intelligent Eggshell or the matte. Again, it's a trade-off. They both look absolutely fantastic. I've got the eggshell here. I think I've got a tin of the matte somewhere. The eggshell is only around about 15% sheen level, so it's more of a matte than most of the other eggshells that you'll get. The finish is absolutely gorgeous and it is a joy to use. It just goes and goes and goes. However, these two are your premium options, the very expensive paints. I'm going to give you a cheaper option now. When I say cheaper option, what I really mean is a trade option, because it is decent quality, and that is the Crown Trade Clean Extreme. The scrubbable matte in particular is a very good product. However, they do an antibacterial, they do an eggshell, just choose the one that best fits the job that you're doing. One thing I will say is, unlike these two, if you're going over any glossy woodwork or anything like that, then you are going to need an adhesion primer before you use this paint. But again, and a lot of other decorators will tell you, the Crown Trade Clean Extreme is absolutely fantastic for something like this. So these are just my opinions, by the way. However, I've spent the last couple of decades decorating, so I swear by any of these three products. However, if you're watching this and you've got any different ideas, drop them in the comments. I'll come back and read them later. And make sure you follow me for more decorating tips.